Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Libra. If Libra is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, this is a message for you. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Okay. Let's see what these tea leaves have to say, Libra. Okay. I like to hold it down. Just kind of want to get a glimpse of this a little further away. And I just also want to say thank you so much for choosing to watch this reading. I'm just looking. There's a lot of hearts in here. Okay, so we have kind of 1, 2, 3 heart formations that are very clearly hearts. So this looks like it's probably going to be love related, love of some kind. It doesn't have to be romantic, but it might be. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I want to start actually before we talk anything about the love stuff. I want to talk about this beautiful symbol right here, and it looks so much like a moose to me. One of the most powerful symbols that we can get in a bowl, in my opinion. So what does a moose mean? It is just like the most astounding, large, powerful, graceful, beautiful animal. You can really, I mean, there are a lot of them that I can think of like that, but one of the more, okay? And also, because I'm from North America, these are one of the largest, if not possibly, maybe it is the largest mammal in North America. And so I have a special place in my heart for them. Although I haven't seen one in person, this is something that definitely lives not too far away from me. And maybe there are moose where I am. I'm fairly close to Canada, so there are probably moose here. I just have never seen one. But anyways, so a moose is, I always think of these videos of the like mama moose, daddy moose, and the little baby moose kind of like walking down a road or some kind of like hiking trail. And when you see them next to these trees, you just are like, wow, they're so big, so tall, so muscular. And, you know, they can be fairly aggressive, okay? But usually only when you're infringing on their space, and especially if they have a calf or a baby. Okay, so this leads me to believe that you are a very protective person. You're very protective of your family, if you have children, if not, you know, just people, friends, family members, people you consider your family. You are definitely a protector of them, okay? And that is very important to you. You are probably in a close role within your family or friend group, okay? You, you know, talked often. You are involved in your people's lives. You are probably not a super solitary person, although I don't think that you have a lot of, like, you don't have a lot of superficial relationships, but you have, you know, a few really close people that you keep up with and care for, and they care for you, and it's, you know, healthy relationships, okay? And part of why I say this is because I see these hearts, and I don't think that this is all romantic. Okay, this really to me says that you have beautiful platonic relationships, you have beautiful with friends or chosen family, but you also have strong ties to your family, maybe your origin family, also maybe your family that you have chosen. And then you also have a strong romantic relationship or the desire for that. You have that kind of love interest in your heart, mind, soul, right? That I imagine you're a very loyal person. Once you find somebody, that's your person. Okay. You don't have a wandering eye. You're not, secretly talking to people or, I don't know, running around. That's just not you. Okay. You are a settled person once that relationship comes to a bonded state. Okay. And so I really think that people must look to you quite often. I think that they probably call you when they, somebody gets a flat tire or needs some help moving or, needs some advice. You're the person that they call. Okay. Now I'm also seeing a 2 and a 0. Okay. So 20, or maybe it's a 2 and comma 0. Okay. These are somewhat important numbers. Something's going to be coming up involving the number 20 or the 2 and the 0. Okay. So look for that. I'm not exactly sure what that's going to be. Maybe an anniversary, maybe, I don't know, a lucky number. Something. Let's see. Now this one to me is kind of interesting as well because it looks like a kangaroo here with its little nose, right? And then a little baby kangaroo, but it's kind of upside down. So it almost kind of makes me feel like, it makes me think of in being in utero. Maybe this is a baby that is not born yet. Maybe there's somebody pregnant in your life, or you yourself are pregnant, or you are very motivated to have a child. You're kind of going through a baby fever. It seems like when I see a kangaroo, oftentimes to me, it is very much related to a maternal energy. And that's because the kangaroo carries its baby in a pouch, right? And that's not many mammals or marsupials do, but not many mammals carry in pouches. Maybe I think the only other one I can really think of off the top of my head, I'm not I'm not an expert by any means, is a possum. So I think that there's just this kind of vibe, and it makes sense because you seem to be a family person, right? And family is very important to you. So maybe you are thinking about having a kid. Maybe you have a grandchild coming along, or kind of you have the desire to have grandchildren. You're kind of maybe, want that to hurry up and get along to that next part of your life, being a grandparent, being able to spoil those grandkids and all of that. But I think that's important. That seems like a really important issue for you. And it's interesting because I really think that this is it seems like it's maybe going to be going your way, okay? Now, this is the same moose formation, but turned on the side, it looks like a rabbit, okay? And it kind of looks like a rabbit that's kind of in a hurry here, jumping. So we know that this year, 2023 is the year of the water rabbit. And we've just had the Lunar New Year, and now we've shifted into this water rabbit energy. Okay, but also the rabbit, one of my favorite things to see in the backyard. And if you've watched my other videos, I love to talk about these backyard spirits. When we see animals, birds, bugs, whatever in our backyard, it's always a good sign, in my opinion. These are the protectors of our life. We know that we're in balance with nature. We are harmonious, and we are communing with, you know, the things that are around us. And if they allow you to see them, then, you know that you are doing something right. They trust enough that you will, you're allowed to witness them. But we know that the rabbit is also definitely a sign of fertility, right? That's what that's its biggest a connotation there is fertility, because they have a lot of babies. They I think they maybe have 2 litters a year, if not 3. So one rabbit can have lots of little babies, and those babies have babies, and then you have a lot of rabbits around. And so seeing this in this cup, it makes me think maybe this is going to be your year. Maybe there's some energy, youthful energy coming in, some new baby energy. And if not new, maybe you've already had a child recently, and that would also explain the abundance of hearts and love for family. Maybe you have quite a few grandchildren already, and you've, been seeing them more often. And that's wonderful. They keep us young, don't they? They do. I know my toddler keeps me on my toes, that's for sure. Okay, so I'm also seeing this tree, and this is in a beautiful spot here. This is in the mind, growing into the spiritual realm. We have this bird that's it looks like it's either flying to it or from it. The movement of the bird is always a transitory state. Obviously, it's traveling. But when I see something like the tree growing into the spiritual, its roots in the physical, you can't help but think of the world tree, the Axis Mundi, the Sephiroth, the tree of life, these different iterations of similar ideas, right? So the thing that ties us, mind, body, spirit. Okay, so the material world with the mind, which would be the emotional world as well, and then the spirit, which is our higher thinking, and the metaphysical realm. Okay, and I think that is something that is very active within you. Seeing the sign, that's the confirmation that this is very in line with your other desires or your other state of being right now with your family, with these feelings of wanting to maybe have a child or more children or grandchildren or just children around you, okay? And, maybe you are somebody who has like a lot of nephews and nieces. For a long time, that was me. I was like the aunt for a lot of people. And so you definitely have this energy going on that this is kind of becoming more of an opening for you to actualize and materialize this kind of this place that you see your life going, that you want it to go towards, through this work that you're doing, okay? And you're manifesting. And, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that just because you will something or you have the intent and will for something to happen, that it's going to happen in the way that you envision it. And also, you have to do the groundwork. You have to do the footwork for these things to happen. It's like that story that they give about, you know, you can have good luck and wish to win the lottery, but you're not going to if you don't go out and buy a lottery ticket. So you have to do the work, line things up so that you might begin to have things manifest in your life, but it also is not always going to look exactly the same as you envision it, as I said. So what do I mean by that? Sometimes, you know, I mean, and I'm not saying this is you, but let me give you an example. We wish to have a child, right? We work very hard towards that. We do all the things that we must, okay? And then somehow, you know, we don't end up having the child right away, but a child within my family, or I'm just using this as an example. It's not a true story or anything, but somebody within my family can't care for their child, okay? So I have to take over care. And so now I have, you know, a young person to take care of. Sometimes life doesn't work out the exact way that we're looking for, okay? Sometimes the universe gives us what we need, but not what we want. Does that make sense? And I know this is a touchy subject. Fertility always is. Or family, or especially children. I mean, my goodness. As you know, when I was younger and didn't have a family, didn't have a child, stuff about kids, of course, you know, I was empathetic about it, but I wasn't super overly emotional. Now I see one thing on TV and I'm bawling, like hysterical. So, you know, it just, you change with it. Okay. So my point of this conversation is keep doing the work. You know, be clear about what you want with yourself. You have to be honest and clear about the things you want and what you're willing to do to get there, right? If you have to have fertility treatments, or you know, maybe you're in a relationship that doesn't support having a child, right? That your partner doesn't want one, or they already have children, so they don't want to have another child in this new or you know, in the relationship they're in now. Whatever it is, these are examples. You got to do what you got to do to get what you think you want in life, right? So that's what I'm saying. It's just, you know, consider your options, okay? And if you're a grandparent, that's kind of out of your hands, right? You could go adopt somebody and their kids, maybe an adult. Go adopt an adult with their children, but you can't force your kids to have children for you, or you know, grandkids for you. So I can't really help with. Now, let's see. I was looking at this one too, this heart. Okay, and it also, to me, looking at it from this side, it looks like a heart, but it also looks like a butterfly, okay? And for me, the butterfly is always this metamorphosis, and it goes along so much with this beautiful tree, with the bird, and I didn't talk about the bird, but the bird, and it'll be quick, the bird is just that confirmation that there is the state of transit, migration and movement in those places of the heart, the soul, and because it looks like it's flying from the spiritual into the mental. I think that your work within the spiritual realm is really affecting your the things you're thinking about, your clarity, cognitive ability, all of that. There's a lot of clarity there, I believe, okay? And I think this is really backed up as well. And I'll pick this up really quick. We have the star card, okay? And this is a clear a clear symbol of clarity. So, yeah, you are going into an era where there's a lot of hopefulness. The old times are kind of, you know, floating away, okay? I picture like in the water, all the old things that didn't serve you are kind of just, you know, getting taken out to sea away from you. And you have all of this space to build the things you want and need, okay? You have the will, you have the intelligence, the creativity, you're so clever, and you have more than enough ability to make the life that you want, okay? And now it's so much about envisioning what that is, and I think it has so much to do with that family life, right? Having the home, the partner, maybe children, as we've been talking about. And now on the other side of all of this, we're talking about about children, creating life or wishing for to have babies and whatnot. But the other side of this is it could be so much about just creating in general, giving birth to your ideas, giving birth to your passions, really, really spending the time and effort to hone your skills and create the things that you want to. Music, art, business, food, you know, whatever, an online presence, becoming some kind of creator, whatever it is. That could definitely coincide with all of this. It might not even be about human children, right? It could be so much about creating the life and the art and the beauty and the things that you want for yourself as well. I want to look at this one. This is interesting. Well, we were talking about the metamorphosis. This is just mirrored. The butterfly is mirrored with the tree. Okay, and with this bird. Same movement, the process of becoming, transition, you know, just development, okay? Self-development, human development. Now down here, I am seeing this one. It almost kind of looks like, it makes me think of like a little, kind of like devil sitting and kind of just looking down and kind of contemplating. So I think that wherever you have kind of maybe impulses or addictions or things that can get fixations, things that can get a little away from you, out of your control at times, I think they're really like very muted right now. You have a lot of that stuff really under control. You're doing the work to get out of those cycles, those habitual, you know, things that kind of like take over your mind at points, obsessions, you know, just getting stuck in these compulsive cycles, okay? And I think that that stuff is really at bay, okay? And I think that it's not gone, and it probably will never be gone, okay? I don't like the idea that we just fix ourselves and, you know, we're cured forever or whatever. You know, we do enough therapy or enough meetings or whatever, and then, you know, you're fixed. Well, that's how it sneaks back in, right? And so I think really the message with that is just keep doing what you're doing, you know, work your routine, how you are, whatever you have done to kind of help heal yourself, your support system, you know, being accountable for any kind of behaviors or, you know, whatever it is. You know, I think that you're in a really good place with that, and you are, you know, but you got to stay vigilant about it, okay? You don't just win one battle and the war is over, right? So this is a lifelong thing, and you're doing well. So kudos to you on that. Now, I want to see, this one looks nice. It looks like a pretty rainbow. It's very bold. I also think it looks like an archway. But I just see this idea of, like, you know, just abundance. There's joy, right? Just around the corner. I think that I see this, like, the blooming of spring. I know wherever you're at, it's not spring anywhere. Here, it's very cold. We're on the tundra. And, you know, way in the southern hemisphere, it's deep summertime. So, but this is like that blooming, that fresh feeling, like just glowing skin, feeling good, you know, just I feel like you really are like vibrating outwards your happiness and glow, okay? And I think it's, you know, a lot of that, it really has to do with all this work you've been doing and allowing yourself to kind of have some you know, dreams that you want to accomplish. And I think maybe in other parts of your life, you were afraid to even admit those things to yourself. But now you've done so much work and you stayed working on it that you really are, you know, you're really getting, and I'm looking at this, sorry. I'm talking, you're really getting it. You're getting it together and it's really, really showing. It shows so much in this cup. And this is getting dry, so I gotta hurry up. But right here, I'm seeing a person riding a horse, kind of leaning forward. I think that in this, I think there's a sense of strength, great strength, but also this idea of, you know, slowing down, letting that horse kind of meander a little bit, not tiring it out, not tiring yourself out. You're in for, you know, the long haul, okay? So, you know, take a beat, go a little slower, pump the brakes, keep moving forward, but, you know, it's not a sprint, okay? And I see this tree that we were looking at here. On this side, it looks like a person with a broom, and it's kind of like sweeping the spiritual zone. So I think that with that, I would say it's just a message to keep your spaces clean, your mental, your ritual spaces. A big thing that comes to mind is, you know, we are so much of the things we think about sometimes. You know, we absorb a lot of that stuff. We carry it with us. So be careful about like the medias that you're taking in, movies, music, you know, whatever, TV, video games, all of the things, the internet in general, social medias. Just be aware that all of that stuff affects your worldview. It affects your spiritual realms. So do some cleanup, tighten that up, get rid of some of the stuff that, you know, makes you feel bad. You know, I right now am not doing social media besides posting, you know, our videos and stuff. But because I just was getting so wrapped up in it. And so needed to clear out those spaces in my mind, because it just, you know, it takes up so much. Not only does it take up so much time, but you think about things that just have no weight in your personal life, right? I know too much about people I don't know. I get, you know, I feel some type of way about things I have nothing to do with. have nothing to do with me. I bring it into my life, and it changes my attitude. It changes how I interact with people, you know, and just, you know, it just, I don't know. I think that it's important sometimes to really take a break from that stuff, or to also, you know, figure out how to get your algorithms moving in a way that you're seeing stuff that is uplifting or adding to your life, making you think, you know, giving you some kind of, you know, I don't know, a little kick in the pants, you know, but nothing that's just like, you know, doom, or violence, or, you know, I don't know, people fighting, arguing with each other. That's the big one for me. That stuff makes me so upset. And some years ago, I decided I'm not going to argue with people on the internet. I'm just done with that. I don't do it. I don't partake in that anymore. And you know what? I understand. I have the impulse to, believe me, but I try not to. And it makes it so much easier to just read something, say, wow, God bless you, you know, bless your soul, you know, and wherever that's coming from, that must be painful, right? But don't engage in it, you know, because it really takes you to somewhere that you don't need to be, you know? People just, it's that saying, misery loves company, okay? And like, that's so real, especially on the internet. Okay, so let's see what we have. What are we looking at here? So. Yeah, so I think that there's like a big conversation coming up, okay? I think kind of a recalibration kind of conversation within a relationship or family. We've been talking about family. I want to know, okay, in the comments, if you have that 20 come up, I want to know what that's about, okay? I keep looking at that 20 down here. Can you see it still? It's right here. It's right over here. But I think that you are having a conversation come up. I'm seeing this eye right here, and I just want to like borrow a little bit from therapy kind of concepts. When you are having this conversation, and if it gets difficult, and look this up if you have to on Google, but try to use I statements while you're talking to this person, and maybe within a lot of your conversations, but instead of telling, like, for instance, telling somebody how they feel or how they may, like, making them take ownership of everything, you have to kind of like, well, I feel like when that happens, I feel like this, or, you know, just really trying to speak from your own perspective, not generalizations about things, or, you know, how you think somebody else is thinking, that kind of thing. Okay, so try to focus on your own, you know, what do they say? Your, like, whatever you are in control of, that's what you need to speak on. And don't go on the attack, kind of just, you know, try to be a little more neutral. I don't know what this conversation is going to be about, but I think that it could be a little difficult. It seems pretty bold. And when I say a recalibration kind of conversation, this might be, so if you've been married or in a long-term relationship, this is kind of the things where we're like, we check in and we you know, see how aligned our visions are for the next, you know, couple months, the next year, the next 5 years. And this has to happen, not, you know, not all the time, but it, you know, once in a while you have to kind of see where you're at. And if you're on the same page, and then make compromises if you're not, and so on. So sometimes that stuff can be, you know, emotional. It can be difficult, and hopefully not leading to arguing, but that can happen. So I just think that you should look into these I statements, okay, before you go into this conversation, whatever it's about. Just to make it a little easier, keep some of that emotional, you know, highs and low lows, the ups and downs of having a maybe difficult conversation, okay? Now, I do see that, let's see, in the next, it looks like the next 6 weeks, okay, I really think that there's going to be some decisions made about some of the things that we talked about. I think that there's just this, I almost wonder if there's going to be some kind of, I don't know. I don't want to say somebody's going to get pregnant, but, you know, something's going to shift where there's more of this kind of youthful energy coming into play. And so I'm not going to say what that is. I don't know exactly. I can't tell you. I don't have clarity on that. But I think in these next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? And I think that it, you know, it's going to be, there's going to be a lot of energetic stuff coming into your life. So some big shifts. So a lot of thinking, emotions, maybe figuring some logistics out, these kinds of things. I don't see it as like a super negative thing, but then it's going to even out in about 6 weeks. So things will be kind of more decided, and, you know, starting to really come into a plan and getting things kind of sorted, or the, you know, beginning stages of getting things sorted. And like I said, take it slow. Don't push things too hard. And, you know, like I had mentioned too, just about this idea of being really honest with ourselves. And I'm not saying being honest with yourself through a conversation with somebody else. Being honest with yourself in your own conversations with you. Okay? So writing it down, contemplating, however you do that, however you really check in with yourself, you know, it's not easy to take away all these constraints of I should be doing this, this is how this is done, this is, you know, what things should look like, you know, this is what's expected of me. All those things are difficult because they are filters that change how we even interact with ourselves, okay? So, it's not easy to be just brutally honest with ourselves about what we want, what we need, and how we're going to do that. But I think it's important, especially if it's something like wanting to have a family, or, you know, some thing like that, okay? So those are important things to think about. And I just kicked this. I'm sorry. All right. So I'm going to wrap this up. We're getting long here. Libra, I'm so thankful for you. I appreciate you. I'm always so honored to bring these messages. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. You can hit that little bell thing. It'll give you notifications about the next videos coming out. If you want to leave a comment, I love hearing from each and every one of you. And if you are interested in a personal reading, in the description there are instructions about booking those. I've done a few recently that have been really interesting and a lot of fun. So yeah, think about that. All right. Thank you. I hope you have a most wonderful day, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching this. Thank you so much.